Two of the last four Defensive Players of the Year coming back today for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And right in their sights, number 7, Michael Vick. And Pam Oliver, so far, Mike has been taking a beating this season.
That's right. Michael Vick calls the Steelers' defensive scheme awesome, but today he's hoping it's not so great. Vick has talked to me about not being able to play with his kids after a couple of those games he's played this season. But he says if the offense does what it's done this week, and if they come out the way they've worked this week, and they'll be able to pick up the blitz, and he's able to get the ball out, that they will be able to do what they think they can do today. Back to you.
All right, Pam, and if you look back at the first 4 games, the team that came after Michael Vick the most, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Eagles' only loss so far this season, they knocked him around for 5 sacks, hit him 13 times. And they're coordinated by Ray Horton, who used to work for Dick LeBeau, who is the architect of this great Pittsburgh defense. So they'll be coming after Michael Vick here this afternoon.
Well, as you said, I mean, we've seen teams have success, and when you put that on film, then you're going to get a heavy dose of it. Now, last week in the win against the New York Giants, they did a much better job of picking those things up.
Sweezum will kick it away. Waiting for it is the rookie Boykin. And he'll bring it out. From about 5 yards deep, can't make the 20. They're going to mark him at the 16, knocked down by Jason Worlds. A return of 21 yards, and Michael Vick, who threw 6 picks and lost 3 fumbles over the first 3 games, turnover free on Sunday night against the Giants in a 2-point win.
And I think if you look at the way that he turned the ball over and the way this team did really through the first 3 games of the season, they were fortunate to come out of those with a 2-1 record.
Came back to beat Cleveland, came back to beat Baltimore. They start with it on the ground the way they ended the game last week, basically, against the Giants with LaShawn McCoy in game 3. This offensive group, you know, for all the moaning and groaning about not running the ball and what have you, they've been running it well. The statistics are good offensively. They're the number 5 ranked offense.
Yeah, and even last year, if you look at, you know, when they ran the ball, they were very effective with that part of their game as well.
Slow start at the snap and a completion to Macklin. That's good enough for an Eagles first down. And now the defense, which is 5th overall if you look at those stats. I know those stats and those rankings drive you nuts, but it's a 3-4 defense, and they get Polamalu and James Harrison back.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, without those 2 key players, I mean, clearly it's had an impact on the play. And the real question is, how long will James Harrison and Troy Polamalu be able to play in this game here this afternoon?
Bryce Brown in the backfield. They fake it to him. Vick keeps it down the middle, going for Macklin or Jackson, pretty much right in between them both. And Vick overthrew both his top receivers as Ike Taylor was back there defending. Take a look at the Steelers and some of the storylines and how they go about this game. Get pressure on Vick with their big guys back on defense. And what Mike Tomlin talked about, which you underline, throw dirt on them after we score, meaning the Steelers don't give up something big defensively, which they've struggled with. Handoff is to the fullback Havili. And he gets 5 over the left side, so 3rd and 5 coming up.
Yeah, I mean, clearly when you're playing in the National Football League, one of the real keys each week is getting after the quarterback. Vick is certainly a dynamic player, and trying to keep him from creating the big plays running the football when you are able to get pressure on him. But the one that you pointed out, Joe, take 2 weeks ago against the Raiders, every time the Steelers went down the field offensively and got points, the defense allowed the Raiders to go right back down the field and answer that. Very frustrating for head coach Mike Tomlin.
And that's going to be Demetrius Bell moving early.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
That's Bell, who's making his 3rd consecutive start out at left tackle while they try to fill the void left by All-Pro Jason Peters out with a ruptured Achilles tendon.
Well, that left tackle position has been a real question mark through the early part of this season. They shuffled the deck a couple times. Demetrius Bell, he comes in last week, does a much better job in that game than he played the week before that against Arizona. They're going to need him to play well in this game.
Extra men on the rush. Vick out to his left, has a man and has a first down as the pass is complete to Avant, good for 12. And a conversion on 3rd and 10.
Well, Jason Avant is one of those steady guys for the Eagles. Real dependable receiver. He's good on his routes from the inside slot position. Vick rolls out a little to his left and a pretty simple pitch and catch. And if you're Demetrius Bell, you're pretty excited right there that the Eagles decided not to rush James Harrison.
So a conversion on 3rd down. 3rd down's been a problem for this Steeler defense. Out of the backfield, it's McCoy. And LaShawn McCoy is knocked down. They're going to mark him maybe inches shy of a first down as Timmons got to him before he got to the boundary.
You know, that play doesn't look like much, but I can guarantee you every coach offensively on that Eagles sideline is very happy to see what Michael Vick just did, because you know, he has such a big arm, and this offense has become so much predicated on big plays down the field. For him to recognize it's not there and then just throw the swing route and pick up 9 yards, that's really where they want him to get, and he slowly is getting there considering he didn't really get a lot of playing time in the preseason.
2nd down and 1. They run it with McCoy to the edge. He's got the first down. Forced out of bounds by Woods after a gain of 8 on 2nd and 1.
Well, every time you're going to run to the outside, you got to be able to seal the edge. And Brent Selleck, he's able to secure James Harrison. And then Havili, he leads the way for LaShawn McCoy. They run to the short side of the field, and yet they're still able to get McCoy on the edge and pick up a nice gain. Excellent execution there by that offensive line and the fullback.
Showed you that stat. The Eagles have not scored on their first possession of the game so far this season. As McCoy now runs right. Breaks a couple of tackles, but can't get away from Polamalu with no gain.
This LaShawn McCoy is really an exceptional player, and even when there's not a lot there, I've said many times that with the skills that he has, and even Michael Vick, when we talk about their ability to run the ball, I mean, he's a big part of that equation. But both of those players do a great job of making up for some of the inadequacies along that offensive line.
Vick back there all by himself on 2nd and 10. Gets away from a sack and ends up getting back to the line of scrimmage. Might have gained half a foot. Timmons was the first guy there, and he's shaking his head as he could not bring down number 7.
It sure looked to me right here like you're going to get a miss because they bring the 2 rushers that side. It looked like the center, Reynolds, was working to the right side of the offensive line, and that's where they have had some problems up front in their protection. Some of the games that we've seen from these teams thus far in the season, it has put, especially that right side of the line between Hermans and Watkins, they've struggled.
Vick, quick throw, incomplete. And after the sack on 3rd down and 10, incomplete from Macklin. And it's 4th down with McBriar, the punter, onto the field for the Eagles.
Well, that's a nice start defensively by Pittsburgh, considering that they have really struggled on 3rd down and getting off the field. And to be able to make a stop, obviously set up there by the sack on 2nd down, but to get off on 3rd and long, it's a good job on their part.
Antonio Brown.
Dornbos, who's the long snapper for the Eagles, dealing with a high ankle sprain. Good snap, and McBriar hangs it high, but not very deep. Fair catch called for and hauled in by Antonio Brown after just a 25-yard punt. Ike Taylor got away with a little tug on the jersey of Deshaun Jackson. Couple of first downs, but then a punt. Great scene in a spot where the Steelers have been playing football since 2001. Big Ben. 180. Roethlisberger off to one of his best starts And that's saying something as Rashard Mendenhall is back, and he is to the line of scrimmage. That's all. We'll talk about Mendenhall, but we'll look up front as we roll through the starting lineups. You've got an offensive line, Troy, that's missing David DeCastro, a first-round pick that they thought would be their starting right guard. He could return, and it might be, Troy, one of the best wide receiver groups that people haven't heard much about.
It's an explosive group. There's no question. I mean, they've all got speed. They can get down the field, and then when you combine that with the abilities of Roethlisberger to extend the plays, and you can see why they're able to get such big chunks in the passing game.
Mendenhall, that snap is over the head of Roethlisberger. Covered up by the Steelers. That one got away, and then Roethlisberger couldn't get back to the ball. Starks is on top of it, a loss of 6.
We're really fortunate. I mean, it's high and hot. I mean, the ball's high up over the shoulder pads then of Ben Roethlisberger, and it came in pretty hard as well. And trying to react to that as the quarterback when you're looking down the field is very, very difficult. Steelers fortunate that Starks was there to be able to fall on it.
Marquise Pouncey, one of the best centers in the NFL, let that one get away, and now it's 3rd down and 16. Quick setup and throw. That's Miller, and he is brought down immediately by Asamoah. A gain of just 1, and that drive went backward. Good play by Asamoah to bring down the bigger Heath Miller right away.
Yeah, and you look now at where Philadelphia is going to be able to get field position. They're going to have, a short field to work with, and so right away the Steelers defense is going to get tested.
Johnson waits for it, the rookie. Calls for a fair catch at the 39. Second possession for the Eagles. 48-yard punt, nothing on the return. Good play by Asamoah. No score in Pittsburgh. Eagles come in with a record of 3-1. They have Detroit next, then their bye week. Play action pass. Vick spins out of trouble for a moment, then just throws it up. It is caught but out of bounds, and now the ball comes out of the hands anyway of Ryan Clark. Pressure by Timmons, and he's already been in Vick's face a couple of times.
Yes, he has. You're going to see Timmons here, and LaShawn McCoy, I mean, he sees it, and he does everything that he can. I mean, that's just a tough task, trying to take on Lawrence Timmons in the pocket with him with a full head of speed. And, Vick miraculously is able to spin and get that ball out and avoid a sack.
And now on 2nd and 10, it's McCoy. Left side, and LaShawn McCoy knocked out of bounds at the marker. Let's go to Kurt Menefee with our first game break.
Well, TB's upset pick was the Giants to lose to Cleveland. So far, he's looking right. Trent Richardson takes it in 15 yards out. That was after Bradshaw fumbled the first play of the game. Less than a minute into it, Browns had the lead, 7-0. Joe Troy and Pan.
So a game that any Eagles fan or any fan of the NFC East is paying attention to. They give McCoy enough for a first down, and it was certainly a tale of two halves on Sunday night against the Giants with how the running game came together in the second half. And then started out running it well here in Pittsburgh. That ball comes out, but he was down. Diving forward, the officials talked to one another. I don't know that he was touched. A gain of 8.
The quarterback was not down by contact. It's first down, fumble.
He wasn't touched. He went head first. The ball came out and was recovered by Lawrence Timmons. Let's take another look.
Well, you take another look at it and see as Michael Vick goes in head first to protect himself, but you're not down. Unlike when you slide, you have to then be touched by the defensive player.
We may have to take another look at that. There was contact with the foot by Larry Foote. Back after this. Seems to us and to Mike Pereira watching back in Los Angeles like the Eagles will maintain possession of the ball. As Vick controls it, his feet get tangled up with linebacker Larry Foote. And then the ball comes out. It's a turnover, so it's being reviewed. It was not something that had to be challenged by Andy Reid. And we think the Eagles will maintain possession with the ball in pretty good field position. We'll see where they end up marking it. But James Harrison and that group may go right back to work. Again, we talked about it. No turnovers by Vic on Sunday night against the Giants. He turned it over 9 times personally through the first 3 games of the season. This one's close, but we think it's going to stay with Philly. Get the call from Tony Correnti.
After reviewing the play, the runner was down by contact at the 42-yard line. Therefore, it will be Philadelphia's ball, 2nd down and 1 at the 42. With the game operator, reset the game clock to 7:05.
So they're saying the ball should be at the 42. They've got it marked at the 38. This is something we saw more of prior to last week. The ball's going back to the 42 where it's 2nd down and 1. It's 7:01 left in the opening quarter and a near turnover, but Vic took it right up the middle, and obviously it's always something you have to contend with. A guy who's number 1 all time, averaging 7 yards per rush. That's what Vic brings and has since he came into the league out of Virginia Tech with Atlanta. Here's McCoy left side on 2nd and 1. Timmons. What a start to this game. Timmons is having a loss of 2 on the play.
Well, they try to run that short side stretch play again that they had success with earlier, and this time this defensive front for Pittsburgh, they do a great job of extending the play and holding their ground and stretching it out wide, and then you've got Timmons, the linebacker, who's able to scrape off the edge and make the play.
So now 3rd and 3. Down the sideline and incomplete. Penalty flag flies as Macklin believes he was interfered with by Ike Taylor. And it is against Pittsburgh. Pass interference. 1st down, Philadelphia.
Well, we saw the one earlier where there was contact that Taylor got away from it, and certainly some hand checking going on. You know, Macklin's grabbing him as well.
Pass interference.
I don't know about that one, Joe. It looked like Macklin initiated some of that contact right there with his right hand, and then at the very end, you saw it with the left hand of Taylor is what the official saw and drew the flag.
So we saw Taylor maybe get away with a hold earlier on Deshaun Jackson. That one goes against Ike Taylor and sets up a 1st down just inside the 14-yard line. A 31-yard penalty against Ike Taylor. Vic. Macklin diving, and they're going to mark him shy of the end zone, but he is set up 1st and goal from the 3. Keenan Lewis out there defending, and from that near turnover to a near touchdown, you can see where Macklin's right foot goes out.
That was a good throw by Michael Vick. First of all, he had a clean pocket. There was nobody in his face, and he had the chance to be able to step up and deliver the throw to Macklin. Macklin, who set up Keenan Lewis nicely on the outside, was able to stick it at the top of the route, create some separation for the completion.
Vic keeps it himself. Ball comes out. Steelers are on top of it and recover in the end zone. Ryan Clark knocked it out. Larry Foote recovered it for the Steelers. That ball is out. And a takeaway from Mike Tomlin's defense, no score. For Vic and the Eagles, 4th time they've turned it over inside the red zone. Most in the NFL, and Roethlisberger sets up at the 20.
Why is that?
Handoff is to Mendenhall. And the 2-time 1,000-yard back gains 3 over the left side back to the turnover.
Yeah, you go back and look at it. Michael Vick, clearly he knows there's going to be contact. I really didn't see a lot there. I mean, Clark comes in and kind of hit his elbow, but not enough to jar the ball loose. You know there's going to be contact when you're running the quarterback draw. It was called in the huddle. But there's just really no excuse for that. Now, on the other side of it, for the defense of the Steelers, Mike Tomlin talked about it the other day. He said, when we give up a short field, we've got to make a defensive stop. And the Eagles started that drive at midfield, and regardless of how it happened, that was an excellent job of not giving up any points when you would expect that they would have at least gotten 3.
On second down, it's dropped off from Miller. And the big tight end gets hit from behind, hangs on out to the 41. 18-yard catch and run. D'Amico Ryans on the stop.
And what did Todd Haley, offensive coordinator, tell us? That he really enjoys during the week drawing up different things for Heath Miller, because he's really good at everything, and so he creates matchup problems. Now, that was just a simple screen, but it looked like he was going to stay in protection. He leaks out, get the ball on him, and a nice game.
Yellow 80. Don't go. Blue 30. Blue 30.
Delayed handoff. Mendenhall trying to find room to run. A penalty flag flies. Looks like a hold. A gain of 2 on the play. See if they get Willie Colon.
Holding. Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
So we'll hold against Willie Colon, and that'll march the ball back 10 yards.
Willie Colon at left guard, and this has been a problem. You see, look, well, yeah, he got him with the right arm, and then he got him with the left arm as the defensive tackle was trying to get away. But that's been one of the problems here for Pittsburgh offensively. Even 2 weeks ago against Oakland, the turnovers were an issue, but they've been heavily penalized through 3 games.
Now 1st and 20. Roethlisberger steps up, and the pass is incomplete. Sanders looking for a flag. Michael Kendricks on the coverage, and now a late flag comes in. Well after the play.
At the conclusion of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 55. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
So they don't get anything on the pass. They get it on unnecessary roughness on Darryl Tapp.
See if we can sort out here what happens to Darryl Tapp. It's right at the end here. There's 55. See anything there, but the flag came in so late that it seemed like it must have occurred well after what we just showed.
So after that exchange, the offensive holding, then the personal foul.
180.
Steelers have it 1st and 10 at their own 46. Roethlisberger fires, pass broken up. Coleman there to break it up with Mike Wallace, the intended receiver. And let's go back and try and figure out what they got Darryl Tapp for.
Yeah, right there when he came back in and then shoved Ramon Foster, the right guard, and that was a big break then for Pittsburgh after getting the penalty and being in a long down situation. Darryl Tapp gives them one.
Now 2nd down and 10. Hand off to Mendenhall. Has room to run, and they're glad he is back down to the 31. Babbitt on the stop, and the longest run from scrimmage for the Steelers this season.
Well, Marcus Gilbert, the right tackle here, and then watch Will Johnson and the lead block that he provides for Rashard Mendenhall, and then it's Mendenhall after that. I mean, he's able to break a couple of tackles, but a nice hole there, staying in behind his lead back. And that's really what they have missed. Now there's a penalty right now on the flag.
Illegal formation
on the field.
Number 17 covered up the tight end. Play must start with illegal formation and end with illegal formation. 5-yard penalty Repeat, second down.
So erase a 22-yard run by Mendenhall. They get an illegal formation. That flag on the far sideline, right in front of the Eagles bench. And it's Mike Wallace who is guilty.
Well, the tight end was on the line of scrimmage, and then Mike Wallace, he cannot then cover him up. He's got to be off of the line, and that's why it was an illegal formation.
Now Isaac Redmond in the backfield on 2nd and 15. And Redmond doesn't get much. The play is made by Kendricks, the rookie linebacker, at gain of 2. And if there's one area with the Eagles defensively that's really improved from a year ago, it's the linebacker spot for Juan Castillo in Philadelphia.
Yeah, you know, this defense is really still about their defensive front and about the secondary, but that linebacker position has not been all that good here over the last several years, but I think they've done a good job of solidifying it, bringing in D'Amico Ryans from the Houston Texans, and then the drafting of Michael Kendricks out of the University of California.
Now you're going to get a false start on Brown.
False start, offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
That's 4 penalties on the Steelers, 3 on this drive.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger, I think he noticed the flinch, and then he tried to have him move as though it was going to be a shift, but obviously a movement like that, clearly a false start.
So now 3rd and 19.
180.
That's Sanders in motion. Roethlisberger with protection. Miller underneath. The flag is down again. Thrown in the area of a hold. A gain of 7.
I think they're going to get Willie Colon.
74. This penalty is declined. Result of the play, 4th down.
And this crowd is frustrated with what they've seen. 5 penalties on the Steelers already, and we've got a minute and a half left in the opening quarter. Demarcus Johnson waits for the punt from the rookie Drew Butler.
The play ended. 4th down.
So they move the ball back to where the play ended. Penalty was obviously declined. And here's the punt. Good one. Penalty flag on the field. And the fair catch just outside the 10, but again, the flag is down.
Man, there's been a flag on every play.
It's a 45-yard punt. A good one from Butler. They've marked it at the 11. And Tony Correnti's been busy. Obviously against the Steelers, it's up to Andy Reid.
Member of the kicking team, number 30, ran out of bounds on his own. 5-yard penalty. Philadelphia has exercised the option of replaying 4th down after the measurement of the penalty.
So they get DeMarcus Van Dyke for running out of bounds on his own. There were 2 Eagles over there. May have been forced out, but either way, Andy Reid has the option of either accepting the penalty at the beginning of the play or at the end of it instead of tacking it on and marking the ball to 16. They're going to make the rookie Drew Butler try and pin the football back inside the 20 again.
Well, Mike Tomlin cannot be happy with what he has seen from the execution and the penalties. I mean, as I said, just an area that they've really struggled in. They've been heavily penalized in all 3 of their games, and then to come out here at home and have the penalties that they've had, some of the pre-snap penalties, that's just unacceptable.
Coming off a bye week, so they did not play last week. Each of the last 4 years they've won coming out of their bye week, and now Butler hits a punt that will head out of bounds near the 25-yard line, and that's right where they'll mark it. It has been a frustrating start for the Steelers here at home in a game they need. No score with the Eagles. Eagles defense talks it over while the offense and Michael Vick goes back to work at the 25. McCoy gets it running to his left. He's had success getting to the edge. He got it again and picks up 7. It's been a frustrating start for Michael Vick. From a near fumble to a real fumble down in the red zone. And he has been chased. He's seen a lot of Timmons. There's the near fumble, and then going in on 1st and goal from the 3. A fumble into the end zone. 2nd down and 4. 2nd down and 9. What a sloppy start.
Offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty remains. 2nd down.
For more on Michael Vick, let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Joe, he was devastated after that red zone turnover. And when I spoke with him, he talked about playing with poise and confidence at all times. He said sometimes, though, he tries to do too much, and that gets him in trouble, and then he makes even more mistakes. He said it's his job to help the team at all times as well and play with confidence. Let's see how he responds. Back to you.
2nd down and 9. Steelers coming with a blitz. Vick loses it again. And Foot is there for the recovery. Knocked out by Timmons. And Vick has let it go twice. Polamalu, who's missed the last 2 games with a bad calf, comes limping back over to the sideline, but here's another one, and Timmons was there to force it out.
Well, that one you see. I mean, Michael Vick is trying to protect the ball, knowing that he's going to have contact, and Timmons, who comes in from his left side where he has the ball tucked, he's able to get his hand on it. You know, you never accept putting the ball on the ground, but that one's somewhat understandable as opposed to the one that happened down around the goal line. But as Pam said, I mean, the turnovers, the things that have happened, when you have the ball in your possession, the most important thing is that at the end of the play you maintain possession, and he's not done that today.
The rookie Rainey gets it. Nowhere to run, and that's the end of the opening quarter here in Pittsburgh. More frustration. Pam said we'll see how Michael Vick responds. He responded with his 2nd turnover of the game. Back after this on Fox from your local Fox station. Troy Polamalu has been dealing with a bad calf the last couple of seasons at the tail end of last year and now here at the start of 2012. He couldn't put any weight on his right leg getting back to the sideline. Now Roethlisberger just throws it away as he was pressured by Brandon Graham. And let's go back and look at Polamalu, who that something grabbed there after the play, and he had to hop his way all the way over to the sideline. After that last play, the 2 teams started to mix it up, right to a 3rd down and 10, and we'll see if the Steelers can do anything with this chance.
Well, Roethlisberger took offense to Brandon Graham at the end of that play. I didn't really see that Graham did too much, but Roethlisberger certainly did. But I think going back to the Polamalu situation, you know, that was the real concern coming in, was just how long would he be able to go? How long would that calf hold up? It doesn't appear that it's held up very long.
Pass is dropped over the middle, Antonio Brown. And after the turnover, the Steelers don't do anything with it. Now they're in a spot where Ben is calling the offense back to the line of scrimmage, and they look like they're going to go for it instead of try the field goal.
Well, it's an excellent job so far by Philadelphia. If they're able to make a big stop here and not give up any points with the short field.
So 4th down and 10. They pass on a 52-yard field goal try. This one gets away from Roethlisberger. And he airs it out into the corner of the end zone where it's incomplete. And this start for the Steelers offense has been about as bad as they could have ever thought it would be coming out of their bye week. They get the turnover on the 2nd Vick fumble, do nothing with it. The Eagles get it at their 20, still no score. Eagles start with it at their 34. So 20 going to break. They get it on the turnover on downs as they hold on 4th and 10. Now Vick ready to throw, slings it to the sideline, and has Deshaun Jackson a gain of 9.
You know, that snap by Maurkice Pouncey, it's the second time we've seen it today. The first one was high, and that's hard to react to as the quarterback. This last one, I thought the position of the snap was good. It looked like it might have come in hot, but it's just not something you'd be expecting to see from those two.
Here's Brown. Bryce Brown got popped by Ryan Clark, but he's got enough for a first down as he got 4. The rookie out of Kansas State, the guy the Eagles really feel fortunate to have as they picked him up in the 7th round.
And I think right now, Joe, looking at this game, you've got to feel pretty good for the way that the Eagles have played defensively. I mean, coming into this game, they've been good defensively on 3rd down, but going up against the Steelers offense that has led the league, and the Steelers have yet to convert on 3rd down in this game.
Now there's confusion offensively for the Eagles on 1st down with the play clock at 3. Vick with protection down the middle of the field for Jackson. And there is a lot of contact, no flag. Covered downfield by Taylor and Clark. And let's see if there's a little bit of a grab before the ball got there by Taylor.
Well, Taylor, clearly there's contact at the top of that route. At the end of the play, James Harrison, fortunately for Vick, he hesitated just a minute before he collided with Vick, because otherwise it would have been a big-time hit.
Now 2nd down as McCoy is dragged to the ground by Timmons. And he's been everywhere. A loss of 2.
Yeah, he really has. Timmons has had himself a nice first half here in this game, forcing a fumble, and he's going to shoot the gap right through the middle, and he scrapes. He sees the hole in the defensive line, and he's able to get to McCoy before he even is able to get to the line of scrimmage.
Vick has been hit 7 times already. It's 3rd down and 12. Extra men on the blitz. Penalty flag flies as Vick goes down. It's another sack, a loss of 1, but a flag came in. First guy on Vick was Timmons. But a penalty flag flew out of the secondary.
Well, that was a draw. That's what the Steelers are arguing, was that was a called quarterback draw by the Eagles. He was never going to throw the pass, and so there was the flag that was on the outside, and the receiver was probably blocking, and that's what they're trying to sort through right now.
You can see Tomlin saying it's a run. Here's the call.
There is no foul for illegal hands of face as it was a run play. Therefore, it is 4th down, the result of the play.
So now the Eagles don't do anything with the opportunity their defense gave him. There's still no score. It's 4th down and a punt from Matt McBriar.
Yeah, called quarterback draw, and the guy who disrupts it is Lawrence Timmons. Surprise, surprise. And LaShawn McCoy was supposed to try to pick him up. He just had no chance.
Antonio Brown, who during practice holds a football in his right arm and then catches punts with his left arm. Practice ball security is waiting for the punt from McBriar. McBriar hits a good one. Penalty flag flies as McBriar knocks it into the end zone. But another play, another flag.
Steelers at their 20-yard line.
Marty Gilliard, and we're going to get the same call on this side we got earlier on the other side. Earlier they got DeMarcus Van Dyke for running out of bounds on his own, and it looked like Gilliard did it.
Member of the kicking team ran out of bounds. 5-yard penalty will be added to the touchback. 1st down.
So now a conversation with Bobby April. What a half for Timmons. He was the first to get to Vick. No score in Pittsburgh. We have not seen much offensively from the Steelers. We haven't seen much offensively from the Eagles. One good drive that got down to the 3, and then Vic fumbled into the end zone.
Wide 80. Wide inside.
Starting at the 25, rolling to his right. Pass is caught on a sliding grab by Antonio Brown. And a gain of 6. Fox tonight, the scariest night of the year is tonight. Why? Because the Simpsons say it is. And you know what that means. An all-new Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. It's all part of a hilarious night. All-new Halloween episode starting tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central here on Fox. 2nd down and 4.
Black 20. Black, what's up?
Mendenhall out of the backfield gets it and has enough for a first down.
Mendenhall with the reception out of the backfield. Tackled by Allen.
Well, both quarterbacks wear number 7, and both have been thoroughly frustrated and frustrating to this point. That includes Roethlisberger, who has been knocked around, can't get in a rhythm, has had trouble out of the shotgun getting snapped, and it just has not been there.
Well, this Eagles defense obviously is much improved from where they were a year ago and doing some really nice things. But I think if you look at this game, the problems the Steelers have had offensively have really been their own undoing.
Here is Redmond. Allen on the stop as Redmond gets to the 40, a gain of 4.
Redmond to the 40.
And let's go to Kurt for a game break.
Well, the Falcons, of course, unbeaten on the season, but Washington doesn't care. Ryan Kerrigan, great play. Bats it to himself, picks it off 28 yards later. It's a touchdown. Washington leads at 7-0 in the second quarter. Joe, Troy, and Pam, we thought you guys might just want to see a play without a penalty flag afterwards.
Yeah, thanks. It was refreshing.
It sure was.
We saw Kerrigan do that against Dallas a couple of seasons ago. It's 2nd down and 6.
Black 20. Black, what's up?
Pass is caught. Somehow got into the arms of Mike Wallace. A gain of 9.
Roethlisberger's pass complete.
That's some of what offensive coordinator Todd Haley in his first year here in Pittsburgh has put into this offense. This passing game has always been down the field, and he implemented more of the 3-step drop, 5-step drop passing game. Get the ball out of Roethlisberger's hands, and they complete one there.
Bono! Bono! 95. Hey, run! One day. Black 20. Black, what's up?
Roethlisberger keeps it and slides for a nice gain right up the middle, picks up 4. You could hear all that talk at the line of scrimmage. Roethlisberger changing it up, and somebody from the defense yelling out run. Roethlisberger kept it, and this is it's been a nice homecoming for Todd Haley, who grew up in Pittsburgh, and he is thrilled to be back here coordinating the offense for Mike Tomlin.
Yellow 80. Oh shit, Sherlock. Blue 30. Blue 30.
2nd down and 6. Roethlisberger, sideline, pass caught, Antonio Brown. And now the offense starting to click a bit for Big Ben and the Steelers. Asamoah on the stop after a gain of 11.
Well, here's what Nnamdi Asamoah likes to do. He likes to disrupt the timing of the receiver, and he'll come up and jam him, but he doesn't do it all the time. Now, Antonio Brown, because he's not a real big guy, people think that they can be effective jamming him, but you got to be real careful because he's one of the best in the league at getting off the line of scrimmage because he's so quick. And if you miss on that move and you've got a deeper throw, you can get burned pretty good.
Black 20. Black, what's up?
They fake it to Rainey. Roethlisberger fires, and the pass incomplete. Allen with a lot of contact on Emmanuel Sanders.
It sure looked to me like Nate Allen got there early. This is the deeper passing that they like. You see, he clearly came in with the left shoulder, left arm, and contact was made. You got an official right there overseeing it, and yet the call's not made.
Let's go. Yellow 80.
Allen got away with one. Now 2nd and 10.
Hey, Black 20. Black, what's that?
Pressure off the edge. Roethlisberger steps up, fakes a pitch, and then goes forward, comes up a yard shy of a first down, a gain of 9.
You see Ben Roethlisberger as he sees the open field and then he fakes the pitch. And it buys him a little bit more time and he's able to pick up more yardage. And you see, I mean, I've been watching this guy for a lot of years and I still marvel at how he is able to create, you know, the elusiveness that he is. And he is difficult to get to the ground because he's big, but he's also pretty fleet of foot. You wouldn't think a guy that size would be as good at it as he is.
That was Kendricks who took the fake. It's now 3rd and 1. Handoff is to Redmond. He spins.
Redmond, the ball carrier.
Knocked down right at the 25. It looked like he had enough for a first down. Ryan's on the stop. He does. First down, Pittsburgh.
Well, that's one of the things that Pittsburgh, even though they haven't run the ball well, you know, here during the early part of this season, what they have done well is converting on the short yardage situations. When it's 3 or 4 or less to go, that time 1 yard, they've been pretty good picking it up.
Go, Mike.
10th play of the drive.
Set. Black 20. Black, what's that?
Roethlisberger throws behind his receiver, but caught by Wallace. A gain of 8.
I really like what Todd Haley is doing within this passing game. I mean, you think about the way that the Steelers have been able to control the time of possession this year without a running game, and they've done it because they have implemented some of that quick passing game, and that was another example of it there. A good catch by Mike Wallace.
Inside the red zone, where the Steelers this season are tied for 7th in the NFL.
What is up?
And converting opportunities into touchdowns. Here's Mendenhall. And Rashard Mendenhall's got a Steeler first down inside the 15 to the 13. A gain of 4. Jamar Chaney, who's making the start in place of the injured Akeem Jordan, was in on the stop. Jordan out with a bad hamstring. And it's a first down at the 13-yard line for Pittsburgh in what is a scoreless first half. Seven-minute drive, play number 12. Out of the backfield, Mendenhall. Got around Kendricks. Touchdown.
Let's go.
Well, that's what you want to see from your star running back. I mean, they're glad to have him back in the lineup, and when you're out in the open field, you can see Mendenhall gets the ball in his hands, and it's one-on-one with Michael Kendricks. And can you make that guy miss? You see the shake at the top? It gets Kendricks to hesitate just a minute, and then he's able to avoid the tackle and go the distance for the touchdown.
It goes down as a run. It was a lateral. And so the guy who was hurt last year in Week 17 tore his ACL, rehabbed and didn't start practicing with the team until September 3rd, is back. Mike Tomlin is glad he is. 7-0 for the Steelers. Much to the dismay of Ben Roethlisberger fantasy owners, I'm sure. That goes down as a 13-yard touchdown run by Mendenhall on the lateral, as it turns out. This is Boykin. He'll take a knee. So we'll take a break. When we come back, Michael Vick and the Eagles now down by 7 on the road, trying to get it working. You can join the NFL and the American Cancer Society in the fight against breast cancer by supporting the A Crucial Catch campaign. Visit NFL.com/auction to bid now on authentic NFL pink gear worn by players and coaches. Starting at the 20. Michael Vick has had a 2-turnover first half. Handoff is to McCoy. LaShawn McCoy last week got it cranking in the second half. For what's going on with the Steelers defense, let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Joe, a couple of defensive starters for the Steelers injured. Linebacker Lamar Woodley has a hamstring injury. His return is questionable. Safety Troy Polamalu's right calf just didn't quite hold up. He's done for the day.
Okay, thanks, Pam. So they didn't have Polamalu back for long, and now they lose Woodley. 2nd and 6. Harrison coming off the edge. Good block. That's Jackson. And Deshaun Jackson with a big play into Pittsburgh territory. Lost the ball, and now they're going to mark him back inside Eagle territory with a first down. A catch and run of 23 yards.
Well, you're going to see James Harrison. He comes off the edge. LaShawn McCoy does an excellent job of getting him on the ground, and so it buys Vic some time. And then you've got Deshaun Jackson running the short crossing route, and nobody there busting the coverage.
Now Ike Taylor is down for the Steelers. Take a break. Come back. Eagles have a first down as they trail by 7. That's some of the first half for Michael Vick. Ike Taylor got up and jogged off the field, so that's good news for the Steelers. Looks like he's ready to come right back in. As Cortez Allen replaces him. Vick keeps it, now sets up a screen for McCoy, and he loses yardage. Jason Worlds made the play, a loss of 2.
You know, Joe, one of the things when we came into town on Friday, it was nice weather here in Pittsburgh and had a little bit of a cold front. Still not that cold based on Pennsylvania standards, but we did see Michael Vick go to the hand warmer before this possession. And I know sometimes when the ball gets a little bit colder, certainly cooler than they're accustomed to this early in the season. I don't know if that's had anything to do with the ball getting on the ground or not, but Vick is now wearing a hand warmer.
Now on 2nd down and 12, Vick in trouble, steps up. Down the middle of the field, contact, no flag. Macklin and Ike Taylor right back into the game.
We've seen Michael Vick take a few shots on the deep post route. On the 2 previous throws he's tried to make, he's thrown into double coverage. Now this one, he has one-on-one with Ike Taylor, who, as we saw, leave the field. I like the decision to try to take a shot, but when you throw that ball, you've got to lead the receiver out in front so he can create separation and go get it. Twice now we've seen that deep post thrown behind the receiver.
Now 3rd down and 12. Timmons had pressure on that last play. Vick sacked, brought down by Worlds.
Well, they overload the right side. You're going to see they bring Ryan Clark as well as the linebackers, and they've got one more than they can protect, and either the line has to slide, and so that then would be on the center, Dallas Reynolds. But if that's not the case, then Michael Vick, he has got to know that there's one more rusher than there is protector, and you've got to get the ball out of your hands.
So McBriar will punt it. Antonio Brown waits for it. Ugly punt. Takes a good Eagle bounce just outside the 20. And that's where the Steelers will have it as they lead by 7. A little bit better last time they had it, certainly for the Steelers. But this has been a pretty ugly first half here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's really been sloppy for both teams, and then the penalties and putting the ball on the ground. And you know, you're right. I mean, I think Pittsburgh on that last possession, they were able to get some things going. You know, they were able to get the quick passing game going with Roethlisberger, and then they had the 1 3rd down, which was 3rd and 1 that they converted. So doing a good job then of staying out of 3rd downs against a defense that's been really good in that situation. Of course, Pittsburgh leads the league converting them.
Starting from the 20, Roethlisberger. Pump fake, and now with a flag on the ground, it's dropped off to Rainey. Rainey lost yardage on the play, but there is a penalty. It's a hold, it looks like, on the Eagles secondary.
Holding defense number 24. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They get Nnamdi Asamoah, and Nnamdi is not used to as much action as he's been getting. With Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie on the other side, there's the penalty.
Yeah, that's the move, and that's what I was talking about. I mean, Antonio Brown is so quick off the line of scrimmage that when you come up and you start pressing him, which is what they want out of these Eagles corners, and it's really what Nnamdi Asamoah is known for. But you see, when he tries to slip that and get to the outside, Asamoah was beaten and grabbed him.
So first down, pump fake over the middle, Heath Miller. And Miller, who is loved here in Pittsburgh, is out across the 40. A gain of 15 yards. We're at the 2-minute warning. Steelers with the ball and a 7-point lead. Back after this. Give you the offensive leaders for the Steelers, who have the ball. First down just outside their own 40. Two minutes left in the opening half. 3 timeouts each side. They roll Ben out to the right. Roethlisberger now trying to come back to the middle, and he throws it away. And now getting into the middle of a shoving match is D'Amico Ryans. He was the first guy in there. And Ryans is told by Tony Corrente to walk away after the incompletion from Roethlisberger, a hit by Ryans.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger, when you start turning back and cutting across the grain and keeping the play alive, then you're going to take some hits. But really remarkable what he's able to do. In fact, even with the new offensive system and some of the quick passing game that I talked about, Ben told us the other day, hey, I'm not changing who I am or what I do. And it's on display here again this afternoon.
Guy has been sacked more since 2006 than any other quarterback in the NFL, and by a big margin. That's a pass caught by Sanders, a gain of 3. Third down coming up. This is a Philadelphia defense, as the Steelers take a timeout, their first. Philadelphia defense that has only 18 takeaways since the start of last year. That's the fewest in the NFL. They've got 7 this season. And an Eagles team, Troy, that finished last year -14 in the plus-minus the turnover ratio. They're now -7 here this season with the 2 first-half turnovers on the fumbles by Vic here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but even having said that, Joe, this defense has played pretty good. I mean, it's not the same defense that we're used to seeing from the Eagles for the past 25 years, whether that's Buddy Ryan or Bud Carson, Ray Rhodes, Jimmy Johnson. I mean, all of those coordinators, they came after the quarterback, and that's not what Juan Castillo's about. They rush 4 guys predominantly. They're very effective doing it, and he wants them playing more coverage. So a different look for all those Eagle fans.
Now third down and 7. 4 men on the rush. Pass caught. First down Pittsburgh, as Antonio Brown is on the receiving end. An 11-yard completion from the top-rated quarterback on third down and the top-rated offense on third down.
Yeah, and Rodgers-Cromartie, he played off, and so it was a pretty easy route then and completion for the Steelers. You would anticipate on third down in that situation that they would come up and press, which is what they prefer to do.
Brown goes right over to the sideline after the catch and the tackle. Flag flies as Roethlisberger is brought down at the 41. Now another penalty out of the secondary.
It looked like they might have gotten the left guard, Willie Colon, again for a hold, and Willie Colon's had a tough afternoon.
Get the call from Tony Corrente.
There are fouls against both teams that will offset. Holding, offense, number 74. Illegal contact, defense. By rule, these penalties will offset. Repeat, first down.
We saw Roethlisberger coming to the sideline, shaking out that right hand. And let's take a look as he went head first. He got hit twice on that hand. The ball almost came out.
Yeah, the ball was loose, and you see Fletcher Cox, he comes in and he goes right for it, and that's what those guys do. And the fact that, I mean, he got it loose a little bit, but The fact that Roethlisberger was even able to maintain possession of that, pretty good.
Minute 9 left, 2 timeouts for the Steelers, up by 7. On first down, coming free was a blitzer, and now this one's caught by Sanders. He's got another Steeler first down as there was pressure off the edge. It's a 12-yard completion. Sanders and Roethlisberger still trying to take the pain out of that right hand.
Rogers Cromartie almost made a spectacular play because that was not his responsibility, but he saw where the pass was going, tried to come off of his man, and almost got a hand on the ball.
Yellow 80. Heel. Blue 30. Blue 30.
That's Antonio Brown at the bottom. Roethlisberger looking for him, and it's juggled and dropped. A perfect throw, and Antonio Brown could not haul it in.
Well, this shows you how much confidence they have in Asamoah one-on-one, because they cheat Coleman, the only safety. They cheat him to the opposite side, so you're on your own outside, and he gets beat. I mean, you see Antonio Brown gets past Asamoah, and it's just a matter of then finishing the play and securing the catch. A perfectly thrown ball by Ben Roethlisberger.
2nd down and 10.
180. Wide 80.
Roethlisberger steps up, finds Rainey out of the backfield, and the rookie is down inside the 30. And a timeout is taken by the Steelers. They have 1 remaining, and here comes Kirk Menefee to tell us what's coming up at half.
Okay, coming up on the Visa Halftime, we'll have highlights from a busy day in the NFL, including this surprise. Cleveland looking to upset the Giants at New York. And Baltimore and Cincinnati try to continue their winning ways. So join me, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy on the Visa Halftime. We'll see you then.
All right, Cleveland started strong in that game, but the Giants are now up 24-17 in that home game against the Browns. The Browns are 0-4 at the top of the AFC North. It's Baltimore at 3-1. They're playing in Kansas City. Cincinnati 3-1. They are hosting Miami. Then you've got the Steelers coming off the bye 1-2, leading by 7. It's 3rd down. It'd be a 45-yard field goal try from here, in case you're wondering. 3rd and 4.
Heavy over the middle. Coming up the quarter, Coach. Blue 30. Blue 30.
Extra men on the rush. Pass caught. That's Brown. Made 2 moves, and he's got a 1st and goal at the 8. Went right around Asamoah, a catch and run of 19 yards.
Well, I'm sure impressed with what I've seen of Antonio Brown and his ability to run routes and set up a defender. Just an excellent route that time on his part.
Roethlisberger clocks it with 23 seconds left. And Antonio Brown ended that play without his shoe.
Well, you see that he goes in motion, and then he gets lined up across from Nnamdi Asamoah, and he got him turned. And so he's going to be able to then make the completion, but because of his speed and quickness, Asamoah is just then not able to make the tackle. It's a pretty good matchup right now favoring the Pittsburgh Steelers.
19-yard catch and run. There's the day for Brown. That's the longest play of the day for the Steelers. 2nd and goal.
Lock 80. Lock inside.
Underneath, Kachuri cannot keep his footing. Now it's 3rd down, and the Steelers will use their final timeout.
Well, Jericho Kachuri, he runs the crossing route. The rookie, Michael Kendricks, initially had him, and then he let him go. And it sure looked to me, Joe, like if Kachuri had not have lost his footing, he trips over his own feet, that he probably scores. He's able to split those defenders and at least get it going north and south, and probably gets it across the goal line.
You obviously always like to keep that one timeout in your pocket, but because it's now 3rd down, Roethlisberger could not spike it. to kill the running clock, so they will have one more shot into the end zone here on 3rd down with 12 seconds left, no more timeouts. And Roethlisberger's got to get rid of it quick. A sack would end the half.
Sack would end it, and quick shot into the end zone and see what happens. Keep an eye on Heath Miller at tight end.
On 3rd and goal, Roethlisberger nearly picked off by Rogers Cromartie. Mike Wallace, the intended receiver, and it's 4th down. Dominique Rogers Cromartie had one almost land in his lap.
And you see Wallace, I mean, he wanted a hold, and he should have gotten it. You know, because initially Rogers Cromartie was beaten off the line of scrimmage because of the design of the route and the crossing action between him and the inside receiver. And the only way Rogers Cromartie is able to get inside technique is to hold, and the officials didn't see it.
20-yard try by Sweezum is good. And it's a 10-0 game. You mentioned Heath Miller as the Steelers came to the line of scrimmage. Let's look at number 83.
Yeah, they just kept him in and let him block, and then little WWE action.
Jason Babin ends up throwing Heath Miller down, and on top of him, here's the view from Roethlisberger. You can see Wallace immediately looking for the flag, but not getting it.
Yeah, they definitely got away with one there. Well, I mean, a well-designed play down there with the man coverage. You know, you always worry about that picking action as a defensive player when you're in press coverage. And he was beaten off the line of scrimmage, and the only way that he's able to get then position again, regain that on Mike Wallace, was to hold, but they didn't see it.
You like the fit of Todd Haley as offensive coordinator here for Ben Roethlisberger?
Well,
there's been a lot of conversation about it.
Yeah, I do, and I think Todd Haley is an outstanding offensive coach, and you know, a little different look from what he showed there in Arizona with Kurt Warner as his quarterback. Everything they did there was get the ball out, and he didn't have the mobility and do some of the things that a Ben Roethlisberger can do. So I like that he's adjusted his scheme to fit the skills then of Roethlisberger.
Line drive kick, 6 seconds left in the opening half here in Pittsburgh. Boykin on the return, and he will get out of bounds with no time remaining on the clock, forced out by Brown. It didn't start too well for the Steelers coming off their bye week, and was not a good first half for Vick, who fumbled twice. 10-0 Pittsburgh. These at halftime coming up. It starts right now. There's the score at the half. Third quarter about to start, 10-0 Steelers. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. One issue that's been a problem for the Philadelphia Eagles has been covering kickoffs. They are 31st in the league at getting downfield and making tackles and trying to hold the opponents to limited yardage. In fact, last Sunday night, David Wilson of the Giants had a long of 53, averaged over 36 yards a kick return. As this one gets into the end zone, and bringing it out is Rainey, and Rainey can't make the 10. Nice play made downfield, and we will go to Pam Oliver for a report. Pam.
Well, Joe, Mike Tomlin very happy with the way the defense is executing. He said we were not about to let Michael Vick's athleticism dictate what we were going to do. He said as far as the offense goes, too many self-inflicted wounds. And yes, the rain is coming down pretty hard. We'll keep an eye on how footing goes. Joe?
All right, thanks, Pam. That was Colt Anderson who got downfield. He is just back from a knee injury. Andy Reid, I'm told, politely declined the interview request. Coming out of the locker room at the start of this second half. Handoff is to Mendenhall, who has the only touchdown today. And Richard is out to the 13, a gain of 6.
You know, Joe, you talked about some of the problems that Philadelphia has had with their kickoff coverage team, and to come out here to start this second half and Rainey made a poor decision there bringing that one out. But to give their defense this kind of field position, and now if they can make a stop against an offense that really started to get some things going there in that second quarter, they'd sure give the ball back to their offense with good field position.
Alex Henry, the kicker for the Eagles, has only 4 touchbacks all year as Mendenhall lost the ball right out of bounds. Rashard Mendenhall, they're going to mark him at the 31. Untouched, but a slick football and a big hole to run through for number 34.
Sure was. Willie Colon and then Max Starks, they're the ones who are able to create the lane. And then you had Emmanuel Sanders, who came in at the second level and got a nice block on safety Kurt Coleman. So Coleman was in a position to try to fill that hole, but Sanders there to make the play on that. And you see what some of the rain's starting to do now that it's beginning to fall.
17-yard run, longest run by the Steelers this season, as Redmond hangs onto the ball, suffers a couple of hits, and gets 4 yards.
I think if you see what the Steelers did there in the first half, I mean, it wasn't great in terms of how they ran the ball, but certainly better than we've seen through the first 3 games. And as we know, I mean, you stick with it, and then some of those smaller gains start to become bigger gains, and they started this second half off with a big run by Mendenhall.
59. Hey, 59.95. Hey, Mike. Set. Blue 30. Blue 30.
Second down and 6. Roethlisberger drops it off for Wallace. Wasn't looking for it. Cheney was out there in coverage. It's now 3rd down.
Wallace he's had some contact on him. Roethlisberger shaking his head because Cheney kind of grabs him as he's coming across the field, and nobody sees it.
We saw that happen down this end of the field right before the half with Wallace getting tugged on, but the official didn't see it then either. Now 3rd down and 6.
Let's go. White up.
This one is caught. What a good throw. And right at the marker and with a 1st down is Antonio Brown, a gain of 6.
See the outside, Antonio Brown, he's going to be covered by Nnamdi Asomugha, and he had some safety help. Nnamdi Asomugha had some help. So that's why it was such good coverage, but that's not on Asomugha. It's just a well-thrown ball, and nice job by Antonio Brown making the catch.
Roethlisberger has not been sacked so far. He's been hit 7 times.
180. What is that?
On 1st down, handoff is to Redmond. Not much room over the right side, gets 2.
Well, Joe, one of the things that we knew coming into this game was how good Pittsburgh offensively has been converting on 3rd down, best in the NFL. And on the other side of the ball for the Eagles defensively, they've been good getting off the field. And so what was going to happen on that down? And early on, the Eagles were winning 3rd down, but not so much anymore. I mean, the Steelers here on the last several 3rd down situations, they've done a good job of converting and keeping these drives going.
Pittsburgh started 0 for their first 3. Since then, they're 4 out of 5, converting on 3rd down. Handoff is to Redmond. And Redmond crosses the 45 out to the 46. He gained 4. Cheney on the stop. And so here's another 3rd down again for the Steelers offense and the Philly defense.
Willie Colon, who struggled a little bit in pass protection, he's been really good here in run blocking. He's the one who was able to spring Mendenhall on the long run to start this possession, and an excellent job there of just blocking out and giving Isaac Redmond a place to run.
8th play of the drive. So far out of the 7 plays, the Steelers have run it 5 times. Sanders starts this play in the backfield. Protection for Roethlisberger. This one floated for Wallace and just 1 stride too far. He got behind Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie and almost had a lot of room to run.
He really did, and Roethlisberger does an excellent job of First of all, there was good protection, but he hangs in there and then he delays it and he gives enough touch on it to really kind of force Mike Wallace then to change direction and get going up the field. And almost a huge play.
Morris Johnson waits for the punt. Eagles will possess it for the first time this second half. Johnson nowhere to go. And there is a flag down back at the line of scrimmage. It's a 46-yard punt, 3-yard return. And with Correnti looking over to Andy Reid on the sideline.
Holding. Offense number 55. Philadelphia has exercised the option of taking the penalty and repeat fourth down.
So instead of tacking it on, they're going to replay fourth down, march the Steelers back, and force another punt. They get Sylvester there, number 55, for a hold. And this will move Butler back inside his own 25 at the start of the play. Morris Johnson waiting for it. Maybe he will have some room to run. Johnson, not a big guy, the rookie out of Tulsa, 5'8", 170. And the punt is a better punt from about the 7. Johnson is out of bounds right across the 20. And it actually, by accepting the penalty, forcing the re-kick, cost the Eagles a yard. On comes Vick, down by 10. The Duquesne incline zoomed its way by at the beginning of our billboards. A nice look at this city of Pittsburgh. That's McCoy in motion as Vick comes to Selleck. And Brent Selleck, who's had a big year, gets a big hit at the end of the play by Ryan Clark. A gain of 5 and a flag is thrown.
I don't know that the hit there by Ryan Clark was really necessary, and the flag came in before the end of the play, but even at the end there was a little extra activity going on his part.
At the conclusion of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 25, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
I think that's where he gets him right there, Joe. When he's obviously stopped, and whether the whistle is blown or not, Ryan Clark comes in on a defenseless receiver and goes helmet to helmet with the crown of his helmet. I think that was the right call. Clark didn't think so.
Yeah, no, obviously. 81 penalty yards marked off against the Steelers so far in this game. First down now with that penalty. The ball's at the 40. Eagles have turned it over twice. Pick out to his left. Will keep it and go out of bounds at the 45. And Clay Harbor in front of him. Saturday, Aaron Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington get you ready for kickoff. The Fox College Saturday pregame show followed by doubleheader action. 2 Pac-12 showdowns. First, Utah Utes head to the Rose Bowl to take on UCLA. Then the 11th ranked USC Trojans will be in Seattle to battle the Washington Huskies. Coverage of Fox College football begins Saturday, 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific. Handoff is to McCoy. A little delay out to the right. Hangs on to the ball as Worlds made the hit and a gain of 3.
It's a good job, though, on McCoy's part of just staying to the play side. I mean, he's got such great quickness that a lot of times he will be quick to try to traverse field and hit the back door. And that time he was patient. He stayed front side, and there really wasn't a lot there, but he was able to pick up at least some positive yardage.
3rd down and 2 with Jackson and Macklin both on the sideline. Handoff is good for the first down. That was McCoy, and I've mentioned it, but just to put statistics to it, last week against the Giants, 6 carries for 2 yards in the first half for McCoy. After the half, 17 for 121, and for LaShawn, that is the most ever in a second half in his young career. Philadelphia actually ran the ball 24 to 37 plays in the second half. So they got it rolling. On first down, Vick lost it again. But covering up is Watkins. Knocked out by McClendon, and Michael Vick cannot hang on to the football.
Well, McClendon, he's the one who was able to get right up the middle on Vick, and he comes around and then he swats it with his left hand and knocks it loose. I mean, you see the pressure there, but you know, even in that situation, when you've got a free rusher on you, you've got to try to protect it with both hands, and Vick's got one arm on it, and that's why it came out.
Pass is caught. What a good catch by Macklin. Then he gets hit. A flag flies. Mundy is the one that hit him. And they're going to flag Ryan Mundy for that hit. So after the 3rd sack of the game by the Steeler defense, you're going to get the completion, then 15 more yards.
And Mundy knows it. I mean, he's coming in to make a play, and he's not trying to. When you take another look at that, it looked to me initially, Joe, like it was helmet to helmet.
Personal foul, illegal contact for the helmet, 15-yard penalty.
There was helmet to helmet contact there, and that's a tough one. I mean, it's just hard on a safety who's trying to drive on the ball, and then part of this league is you want to punish the receiver, and he came in and the ball, because the ball was thrown where it was, then he gets called for the penalty.
That's 3 personal fouls against the Steelers in this game, and the end of the play, 26 yards, 11 yards on the completion, plus the penalty, and a first down to the Steeler 25. Selleck at the bottom of the screen over the middle. That's Avant. And Avant is down to the 15-yard line. Depends on the spot as to whether it's a first down or not. And it is. Mundy on the stop there.
Let's go back and take a look at the hit and see what it was. And he's trying to lead with his shoulder, and the contact, you know, really it's hard to tell. I mean, the officials bang bang it. I thought it was helmet to helmet when it happened live. You go back in slow motion, it looked like the contact was really more with the shoulder and less with the helmet.
Timeout. Pittsburgh.
Steelers want a timeout. This is the 2nd time the Eagles have been inside the red zone. First trip in, 1st and goal from the 3, and Michael Vick fumbled. Timeout Steelers. First down Eagles, down by 10 when we come back. Macklin getting checked out on the sideline after that hit by Mundy. It's a first down at the 15 for the Eagles, who have turned it over 4 times inside the red zone this season, once today already. Pass is caught. That's McCoy. What a nice move. McCoy for the touchdown. And so the kid who starred on this field and has family and friends all over this stadium playing at Pitt is in for a 15-yard catch and run for the touchdown after going around Larry Foote.
Well, it's not even fair. I mean, you got Larry Foote, and you see that LaShawn McCoy runs the swing route. He's doing everything he can to get out there and try to make a play. And LaShawn McCoy with the ability to just stick his foot in the ground and get going north and south. And one-on-one against McCoy, you've got no shot. I don't care who you are.
That for McCoy, his first receiving touchdown of the season, his 2nd overall. 30 penalty yards on that drive helped. But then it was McCoy with a touchdown and a grading from his head coach, Andy Reid. There's the drive. Vick was 4 for 4 for 41 yards and the touchdown on the 15-yarder to McCoy on that drive. He did fumble once, Vick, but the Eagles covered it as Rainey breaks free. Chris Rainey is out across the 40. And so that problem covering kickoffs rears its ugly head again for the Eagles. A 45-yard return by the rookie Chris Rainey.
Well, Chris Rainey is just an explosive rookie player, and this is an organization that feels if they can just get the ball in his hands enough times, eventually he's going to make something happen. And for him to be able to take that return and give the offense the possession now that they have here on the field, and just another example of the struggles that Philadelphia has had in their coverage units.
Set! 180! 27!
Mendenhall on first down. Got past that first hit and over the right side got 3. You can call ** NFL to download NFL Mobile now and get coverage of every NFL team. Coming up on 6 left in the third quarter here in Pittsburgh, with the Steelers now up by 3.
Set! Black 20! Black, what's up?
Play action from Roethlisberger, and this one was banged around. I believe it hit Landry first. Trying to get it to Mendenhall on a screen. That'll bring up third down.
Yeah, that one really didn't fool anybody. And as soon as the Eagles saw that the linemen were pulling out, regardless of the action that was going on in the backfield, there was no chance there for Mendenhall. But you see Landry, he's able to get a hand on it prior to it getting to Mendenhall. But you know, you put your defense in a real bind when you, as a return team or a coverage team, that is, when you're not able to cover any better than they did and give the ball to a good offense, you know, where they're at now.
Nearly their undoing on Sunday night. Roethlisberger is short. Over the middle, was pressured by Trent Cole. And then trying to get it to Antonio Brown. He was short with it over the middle. It's fourth down.
Yeah, there's pressure along that left side. Willie Colon, he gets driven back into Roethlisberger, and you know, they're able to get enough of Ben as he's trying to make that throw. Maybe he's able to arch that one in there for a completion, but a dangerous throw, or a dangerous attempt there by Ben.
This one goes sideways. Now forward, and will be tapped down by the Steelers at the 13-yard line. That's where the Eagles have it as they trail by 3. 5:21 left, quarter number 3. Expertly sculpted to the unruly. A number of beards on display is a bit of a fashion statement as the calendar is in October. There's the rookie Rainey, and then there's Andy Reid, who's letting the stash go.
Yes, he is. There's a couple of guys up here that got some beards going too.
Yeah. Spotter Dave Schwabe on first down. Out of the backfield, it's McCoy. Looked like he was going to the sideline, then he cuts up field and picks up 4 over the left side.
Star NFL to download NFL Mobile right now and get coverage of every NFL game.
Well, Indianapolis is negating Matthews and Package here. Oh, we got a guy down here.
That's Mike McGlynn, and they're already
being put on the team this year, and it was primarily because of the injury to Jason Kelsey that he's playing. So there's been some significant injuries along that offensive line, beginning with Jason Peters back in the offseason.
Now on second down, Vick. Jackson wasn't ready for it or looking for it. It's third down and 6.
Yeah, this left side of the line, you're going to see Evan Mathis and then Demetrius Bell. They just do not handle the twist well at all. And once you feel that movement start to take place where a guy's starting to go to your outside, you've got to then expect someone coming back to the inside. Evan Mathis doesn't recognize it, doesn't feel it, and because of that, James Harrison able to get pressure.
Now third down and 6. Vick flushed out to his left, got away from Kiesel, and throws incomplete back over the middle. So 3 and out for Michael Vick in the Eagles offense.
I don't know what's happening on this offensive line there. They let Brett Kiesel, who's standing up right in the gap, they just completely turn him loose. You know, somebody's got to be able to squeeze that down. And then even after Vic gets outside of the pocket, I've seen it a couple times now in this game where he's been able to buy time and escape, but nobody's been able to get any separation as a receiver.
Pretty good punt by McBriar. Brown back inside the 30. Good downfield pressure initially by Gilliard. Hughes on the stop, 6-yard return. Steelers have the football and a 3-point lead. 5 to play, third quarter here in Pittsburgh as the Steelers start at their own 33.
Stop! Blue 30! Blue 30!
Mendenhall gets it. And a nice run on first down out near the 40. A gain of 6.
Well, we came into the game, Joe, really talking about the 3 returning starters, and that's James Harrison and Troy Polamalu, and then, of course, Rashard Mendenhall, and how long they would be able to go. Of course, Polamalu goes out there in the first quarter, but Mendenhall has really given this offense something. I mean, he's run the ball well here in this game, and you kind of wonder with that knee, but we've seen him plant and make some moves with it. And he's had a nice outing here for his first action of the season.
There's Mendenhall again, and he's got a first down and more out to the 49-yard line. And let's go for a game break. Here is Patrick O'Neill.
Thank you, Joe. Atlanta, Washington. Redskins quarterback Robert Griffin III on third down trying to make a play, but this is the fear. Taking big hits. Sean Witherspoon lights him up, knocks him out of the game. Right now, rookie quarterback from Michigan State, Kirk Cousins, is in for the Skins. They lead Atlanta 10-7. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right, so we'll keep an eye on that. As the Redskins try to get over 500 and Atlanta their first loss of the season. Handoff is to Mendenhall, and what did Mike Tomlin say? We need our lead guy. The running back by committee thing doesn't work. Nobody gets into a rhythm. He was so excited to get Mendenhall back in this lineup.
Well, it doesn't work, and yet they've had to do that just because they don't have that guy. They didn't have a guy who you could give the ball to 20 times. And, you know, like all good backs, when you look at them, they get better as the game goes along. So the more and more carries they get, the better they get, the more they start to break down and wear out some of the defensive guys and create some big runs. And they're starting to feed it now to Mendenhall here in this possession.
Second down and 6, and the handoff is to Redmond. And he's down inside the 35. Brought down by Asamoah, but a 13-yard run by Isaac Redmond.
Well, I pointed out some of the things that have happened in pass protection with Willie Colon, but I'll tell you, as a run blocker, he has been a road grader today. I mean, he has done this over and over, and you know, when you get guys moving and you're able to block out a defensive player the way he's been able to, that's nice for a running back to see that and know that he's got a clear lane. And some of these runs that we've seen where they've had some success have been right over the center guard area, and Willie Colon being a big part of that.
White 80! White side!
That's Brown. Wide receiver screen, and Antonio Brown is out of bounds at the 19 with another Steeler first down.
Excellent job by Heath Miller leading the way, and Antonio Brown, he gets the reception and just stays in behind him. And I couldn't be more impressed with what I've seen of Antonio Brown here in this game, and even Heath Miller for that matter. I mean, this is a guy who's been playing at a high level for a long time, and he's not someone who's going to catch 80 balls and have 1,200 yards receiving, but he does so many things well, like what we saw there that goes unnoticed with a key block.
Michael Kendricks was down. They check on him on the sideline, and he's limping back to the bench area. So they stop play with a minute 24 left in this third quarter. And Antonio Brown has easily emerged as Roethlisberger's favorite target here today. Came in with 18 catches. He's got 6 for 67 so far. Hand off to Redmond. And And Redmond runs into Casey Matthews, who was in there with the injury to Michael Kendricks. No gain. They are thin now at the linebacker spot. They just added Adrian Moten, more of a special teams player, but he's the only backup at the moment with Kendricks out. And that's Kurt Coleman, who jumps up onto the lower back of Marquise Pouncey.
I don't know if Coleman's big enough to be trying that move too many times.
2nd down and 10.
Set! Blue 30! Blue 30!
Redmond to the 16. And that will likely do it for the first 3 quarters here in Pittsburgh. A 10-7 game. The Steelers are now inside the red zone. Eagles come in 3-1. Steelers off their bye week come in at 1-2. 3-point game. Quarter number 4 coming up back after this from your local Fox station. As you look at the overall stats, realize the Steelers had 72 rush yards in the 3rd quarter, only 40 in the first half. So they're over 100 yards for the day, and this is a big 3rd down. 3rd and 6.
Black 80! Black 80!
Play action. Roethlisberger. Miller out of his reach. And it's 4th down. A big hole defensively for the Eagles as the field goal unit comes on for Pittsburgh.
A pretty well designed play there by Pittsburgh. They basically came back with the play that they had run earlier to Antonio Brown when Heath Miller was blocking. They show a wide receiver screen and then try to slip Heath Miller in behind that. Actually had a chance on it. He was open along the sideline in a ball that really just got away from Roethlisberger.
34-yard try by Sweezen. Who is now 2 for 2 today and 7 for 7 on the year. Roethlisberger thinking that one might have been one that got away. Out of Miller's reach. 6-point game in Pittsburgh. Guy talking to me in my ear right in the middle of that picture. Happy birthday to Jake Jolivet.
Happy birthday, Jolly.
It's at our truck with producer Richie Zients and our director Rich Russo. Colby Bourgeois up front as well. Technical director as Boykins on the return gets to the 20 and just beyond. 19-yard return. Get ready for the biggest sports month of the year as Foxtoberfest continues. On Saturday, college football, Utah, UCLA, USC, and Washington. Then it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader as the Cowboys take on the Ravens, followed by America's Game of the Week, Giants and 49ers, or other regional action. Then Game 1 of the NLCS. That is a big weekend next weekend right here on Fox in high definition. It'll be a big month. On 1st down, McCoy wrestled down at the 25. Let's go to Kurt for a game break.
Falcons, of course, trying to remain unbeaten. They take their first lead of the day against the Redskins. Matt Ryan picking up with Julio Jones' 18-yard score. Atlanta up 14-10. Skins will try to come back with Kirk Cousins now at quarterback for the injured RG3. Joe Troy and Pam.
There were a lot of people wondering about having the backup rookie, Kirk Cousins. We'll find out how well he fares.
Rolling out to his left, Vick finds Selleck. And Selleck with a short gain. Foot was there to clean up. Harrison first, a gain of 3. So 3rd down coming up for the Eagles, who trail by 6.
Yeah, not a lot out of that play there. And I think if you look at Pittsburgh in this game and what they got challenged to do, and that's get after Vick. They've done that, create takeaways. They've done that, and then they've done a pretty good job of getting off the field on this down here.
On 3rd down and 3, Vick. Pass is caught. That was Jackson, and he is marked just short of 1st down yardage.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I mean, that was closer than it needed to be as to whether or not he picks up the 1st down. He's just going to run a simple little quick out route. but you've got to get enough depth to be able to pick up the first down.
Well, you could read the lips of Andy Reid saying, let's go for it. Jackson tried to reach out with the right hand with the ball in it. And for now on,
I don't know that if they're short, if I'd be going for it if I were Andy Reid.
He is so far. And I think Andy Reid's going to challenge the spot of the football. You could see Deshaun Jackson reach that arm out trying to get across, in essence, the 31.
Philadelphia is challenging the ruling on the field of the forward progress spot as related to a first down.
So there you go, the challenge by Andy Reid. We'll get the call when we come back. Tough to see on that replay exactly where it should be. But Reid thinks it should be a little bit farther downfield. We always give the disclaimer when showing where the ball should be marked that that yellow line, Troy, is unofficial. It's an unofficial look at where the first down line is. But he's across it when he makes the catch. Then tries to reach at the back end of the play as he's going out of bounds, and we'll get the call right now.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field will stand. The runner short of the line to gain.
And they're going to go for it.
Well, this is an interesting decision on Andy Reid's part if he's going for it. You know, really on second down and third down, the completion to Brent Selleck I didn't think was much either. And you have two completions on consecutive down, and you fail to pick up enough for the first down. I think this is a mistake by Andy Reid.
That far to go. They give it to McCoy, dancing around, and with that extra effort got the first down. First guy there was Timmons, but McCoy did that all himself, and that gets a smile on the face of Andy Reid.
Well, you're going to see Timmons. He gets in the hole, and yeah, McCoy, because of his abilities, he's able to get away from him. There was no push on the inside, and then contact made by Keenan Lewis, and I agree. I mean, he's able to get in just enough behind that line and push himself to pick up the first down and really get Andy Reid off the hook.
What? 94. Hey, righty!
Extra men on the rush. Pass is caught by Avant. And we'll see what that decision by Andy Reid leads to as Avant picks up 12. Let's go back to the 4th and inches.
I mean, there's not a lot of backs that if they've got a free guy in the hole like Timmons was that is able to make something out of that. Just a great effort on McCoy's part. Andy Reid talked about how his stomach dropped last week when he tried to ice the kicker and they missed with the Giants. I wonder how he felt there.
McCoy with a nice cut back and turned what could have been a loss into a 2-yard gain. Let's go to Kurt Menefee for a game break.
Well, with Robert Griffin III out with an apparent head injury, Kirk Cousins comes in and throws his first NFL touchdown pass. How about that? Wide open Santana Moss. 77 yards later, the Skins are back on top, up by 3 in the 4th quarter over the Falcons. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
And as I said earlier, I think it's a great decision to have another rookie back up.
I remember when you said that. Second down, here's Macklin. Goes backward and now lunges back to the spot where he made the catch. A gain of 5. Third down coming up.
Well, you just kind of wonder now if, third down, if they don't make it, what Andy would do here. I mean, if he was willing to go for it 4th and 1 on the 30-yard line, would he be willing to go for it if they don't gain any yardage here and it's 4th and 3?
Right now, third down and 3. And a timeout taken by
Philadelphia.
The sideline. There was confusion, and the Eagles have only one more timeout remaining. Third down and 3 when we come back to Pittsburgh. You see Andy Reid in the back, and it was Andy who called a timeout when offensively there was some confusion. So one left. Third down and 4. playing without Polamalu, re-injured that right calf. Without Woodley, out with a bad hamstring. They run it with McCoy. And LaShawn McCoy is doing all he can. And he may be inches short again.
Tell you what, Joe, there was not a lot there. Brent Selleck, who's done a nice job in run blocking, he gets pushed back immediately into the backfield, and so McCoy's got to be able to navigate that, and then it gets stretched out, and he's able to avoid Ike Taylor, who comes in as well, and he got more out of that than really you would have thought.
So going for it again on 4th and inches. Second time on this drive.
There is no foul for delay of game, as we had not placed the ball ready for play. Please give me a new 25-second count.
So the flag did hit the ground, but Tony Corrente, realizing they did not reset and give the Eagles enough time to get up and get the play off. So 4th and inches. Vic knew it. He looked at the play clock and backed out of there. It wasn't reset. Back to McCoy, and McCoy's got it. Took it to the 45, and they are riding number 25 on this drive in some key spots, looking for their 4th win.
They're riding him, and they're riding that right side of Danny Watkins and Todd Harriman's, just trying to get enough movement to pick up that first down.
Now Dion Lewis, who has been inactive through the first 4 games, is into the lineup as McCoy checks out. Blitz coming from the Steelers. Pass is caught. Big hit. Pass was caught on the outside by Macklin. Keenan Lewis on the tackle, a gain of 5.
Well, Lawrence Timmons, they run the twist at the linebackers, and Lawrence Timmons, as we've seen many times in this game, he's able to come right up the gut untouched and force Vic to get the ball out of his hands quickly, which he does.
Vic, coming into this game, had been knocked down 44 times, by far the most in the NFL. Among quarterbacks, as this one is handed to McCoy. He went right around Ryan Mundy and picked up a first down, a gain of 6.
How good is that? LaShawn McCoy, Ryan Munday, the safety, it's one-on-one. And he made him act as if he wasn't even there, and that's amazing stuff by LaShawn McCoy, and there's not many backs that can do that. He does it about as well as anybody I've seen since Barry Sanders.
12th play of the drive. Over the first 11, it's been 5 McCoy runs sprinkled in. A couple of big ones on 4th down. Vic overthrows Deshaun Jackson. Wasn't anything out there. Let's go to Kurt for a game break.
It's a baseball game break for you. A's and Tigers in the American League playoffs tied at 4, bottom of the 9th, bases loaded. Detroit's Don Kelly sacrifice fly. That's good enough to get home Omar Infante for the game winner. 5-4. Tigers get the win, go up 2-0. The next 3 are in Oakland. Keep in mind, next Sunday, NLCS starts right here on Fox as Foxtoberfest continues. You heard about it?
We've heard about it. Thank you, Kurt. So the Tigers, who came rolling into the postseason, up 2-0 on the out-of-nowhere A's. This one is behind Selleck, with Worlds back there defending. And Vic again has to peel himself up off the grass here in Pittsburgh. He got pounded.
Oh, I mean, James Harrison gets inside of Evan Mathis at left guard and just got a free shot. I mean, it's hard when you get pressure on the outside. It's almost impossible as a quarterback when you're getting 3 rushers right in your face.
He's been knocked down 11 times in this game, Vic. Sacked 3 times. It's 3rd and 10. Extra men on the rush. A blitz. Vic wide open and caught Deshaun Jackson. Working on Ike Taylor, 23 yards and a huge Philadelphia first down.
Well, as you see, Deshaun Jackson, he goes in motion inside, and so that gives him all that field to work with then as he comes out of that route. Ike Taylor expects him to stay in the middle of the field and go to the post. And that movement by the motion, your margin for error then as a quarterback is really good, and Vic lays it out there, and Deshaun Jackson's able to then make the play.
This one to McCoy, and it comes out, no catch. Timmons on the coverage. Back to that third down conversion.
And you're going to see the Steelers, I mean, they bring a lot of guys here. And the Eagles do a good job of shoring it up. Even Timmons, who we've seen has had some free runs, he gets blocked up. Now, it continues to rain here, and so it's a little difficult throwing in those conditions. And Vic able to lay it out there in a nice third down conversion.
16th play of the drive. It includes 2 fourth-down conversions. Play action. That's Clay Harbor. And the big tight end will take it down to the 2. Another important third down coming up.
Well, it is a big third down. You just kind of wonder, considering that Andy Reid went for it on fourth down from his own 30, if they don't pick it up here, do they then go for it on fourth down? If you're Marty Mornhinweg and you know you've got 4 downs, as it seems he's had, you call this play here then a little differently.
Third down and goal. Vic. Touchdown, Selleck. That's his first touchdown of the year. He's had a great year catching the football, and he was good enough for a 2-yard touchdown reception.
And you're going to see Selleck, he's at the end of the line tight end. He pushes up, and then Vic puts it on him. Now, when I say you call the game differently, what I'm thinking is you've got 2 downs to run the ball in. You don't necessarily have to throw it, whereas you would if you're going to kick the field goal on fourth down. They go empty set, show pass the entire way, and yet they're still able to get the completion for the touchdown. Excellent drive there by Philadelphia.
This for the lead. And it's the first lead of the game for the Eagles. 17 play drive covering 79 yards and over 8 minutes on the clock. Big Ben back to the field now, trailing by 1. Look at the numbers for that drive. The longest for the Eagles this season in terms of plays and time. Over 8 minutes off the clock here on the road with 2 fourth-down conversions. McCoy didn't get the points, but boy, did he fight to get them down in position to get them. And now just the 5th touchback of the season for Henry. Steelers will start at their 20, down by 1. Welcome inside our broadcast booth. I'm Joe. That's Troy, and it's turned into a good game.
Well, it has. I mean, I'm still marveling over that drive. I mean, for Andy Reid to go for it from his own 30-yard line on fourth down was something. They converted, and they converted another one, and I guess he's sending a message to his team like, hey, we got to get going, because they had not been able to get anything much going in this game.
And for the Eagles, it's kind of how the season has gone. It's not been a pretty game, and yet their first 3 wins have been fourth-quarter comebacks, and they've done it again here today, but a long way to go. 6.5 on the clock as Roethlisberger hands to Rainey. Penalty flag on the play as Rainey gets back to the line of scrimmage.
I think they're going to get Cologne again.
I think you're right.
Well, he's been outstanding as a run blocker, as we pointed out, but he has really struggled.
Holding, offense
in
number
pass
74.
protection.
10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Now he gets a hold on a run, delayed handoff to Chris Rainey. That moves it back to the 10, makes it 1st and 20, so the hole gets a little bit deeper for this Steeler team that comes in 1-2. Steelers over 100 yards in penalties. With 3 personal fouls, a big part of that. Roethlisberger scanned the whole field and comes back to the tight end. David Paulson, a gain of 8. That's his first catch in the NFL.
Roethlisberger's pass complete to Paulson.
Under 6 to go.
Tackle by Allen, gain of 8.
Second down and 12.
Steelers at their 18.
Come this way, pal.
180! 180!
Roethlisberger off the hands of Wallace. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie in coverage, and now it's third down and 12.
Well, they've got help over the top, and so they're locked up in man coverage underneath, and Cromartie's able to play them pretty tight. But actually a well-thrown ball by Roethlisberger just off the hands there of Wallace. I thought Roethlisberger was going to try to work the middle of the field because of that coverage. Instead, he came to the outside, and they just failed to connect.
The Eagles defense started the day number 3 in the league in holding teams from converting on third down. Roethlisberger, the top-rated quarterback on third down. And he adds to it as he finds Antonio Brown. A big 20-yard completion for a Steeler first down.
Where you're going to see Antonio Brown come to the middle of the field. And this time the Eagles, they go zone coverage, they pass it off, and then they've got to be able to squeeze that guy in the middle, and Brown's able to find the hole, and Roethlisberger again buying himself some time in the pocket, and a big third down conversion for the Steelers.
There's the day for Brown. Longest play from scrimmage today for Pittsburgh, 20 yards. Mendenhall. He's persevered. First game back off the ACL surgery. Gets 3. If you don't know what's going on in the North, the AFC side, you've got Baltimore 3-1, Cincinnati there as well. Cincinnati's trailing right now. Pittsburgh trying to get to the 500 mark and trying to avoid losing back-to-back games. They've gone 38 games straight without consecutive losses.
Blue 30. Blue, there's a...
Second down and 7. Roethlisberger in trouble. Mendenhall out on the edge. And Mendenhall spins his way inside the 45.
You're going to see Marcus Gilbert, the right tackle. He's the one who leads the way. This was designed all the way. It's another way of running what essentially is a screen, and they get it to Mendenhall with blockers out in front. And right there, Gilbert able to just pancake the guy, and Rashard Mendenhall turns that into a nice play.
88-yard day overall, 1 touchdown.
Set! 180! What is that?
Here's Redmond. Isaac Redmond. Better is the changeup back, takes it for 4 yards to the 40. With 3 minutes to go. Remember, Philadelphia only 1 timeout left. Pittsburgh with 2.
Yeah, well, good drive here by Pittsburgh. I mean, it's been all Philadelphia offensively, and coming off that big drive that they just had. And for Pittsburgh then to be able to come back and try to answer that and put this drive together has been impressive.
Second down and 6.
White 80! What is that?
Hand off to Redmond. And Redmond gets 2. And you would have to, that the Steelers have 2 downs to get the remaining yardage to get the first down. They're outside field goal range, and the clock is coming down to 2 minutes left. It could all just rest on this drive. A team that rarely loses here at home. A quarterback that rarely loses here at home. Trying to march down for the winner. 2 minutes left. Ben Roethlisberger, a first-round pick back in 2004, is 13-1 here at home against NFC teams coming in to visit. trying to get his team in position for game-winning points, faced with a 3rd down and 4, but 2 downs to get it.
2 downs to get it, Joe, and if they're able to pick up a 1st down, I mean, they can run the clock down and go for the field goal to win the game because of the Eagles only having 1 timeout left.
180. We see you, 22. 180.
On 3rd down, Roethlisberger caught. Sanders, 1st down.
Well, you've got him in the slot, Emmanuel Sanders, and because of the design of the play, the guy who's in coverage, Brandon Boykin, he's on the inside, but the way Heath Miller released up the field, Boykin then did not have a clear path to try to cover Sanders, and he makes a nice catch on that ball.
Philadelphia takes their final timeout. So now it's just a question of what do you want to do? How close do you want to get for Sweezum? This is notoriously a tough stadium for field goal kickers. 52 yards is the longest field goal ever made in this stadium. That was Jeff Reed back in 2010. The career long for Sweezum is 52 yards, not as a Steeler. Right now you're talking about a 49-yard field goal from here. So considering the damp conditions, the wind, it's tough in this stadium. The Steelers want to make this more of a sure bet.
Well, no doubt, but I can assure you they're going to give the ball to Mendenhall here, and if they don't get anything on 1st and 2nd down, then make a decision on whether or not to throw.
Mendenhall gets it, gets to the edge, and a nice run on his first day back. It's been a good one. He has a touchdown run. Asamoah forces him out after a gain of 8. He does, however, go out of bounds and stop the clock. But that'll be immaterial if the Steelers get one more 1st down.
An excellent job by Antonio Brown on the outside. We've shown what he's done throughout this game as a receiver, but that time he helped secure the edge for Mendenhall. And a nice gain there on 1st down when the Eagles know that they're going to hand the ball off, and that sure makes this kick a heck of a lot easier for Sweezum.
No timeouts for Philadelphia. On 2nd down, Mendenhall spins. He's got a 1st down. He's at the 20. The Eagles cannot stop the clock. And you're talking about a 38-yard field goal from this spot.
Well, this is a great job by Pittsburgh offensively, answering on this possession. And how about Rashard Mendenhall? His first action of the season, and he's had himself quite a day.
79 yards on the ground, including a touchdown run. Came on a lateral throw back in the 1st half. Back to him. Down to the 18.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd be a little careful now based on where the ball is on, handing it off any more than you have to. I think from right here you'd see Roethlisberger start to position this wherever Sweezum feels most comfortable kicking from. And they've brought Mendenhall off the field, and I would imagine that's exactly what they're going to do.
They've got Redmond. It's 2nd down and 8, but now all that matters, the yardage for Sweezum. Little delay getting out from under center. Pretty good run by Redmond to put the ball right in the center of the field. Now it's 3rd down, and we'll see if the Steelers want to let it run down some, try and kick it on 3rd down in case there's a mishandling of the football, or if they just want to let it go down to the bitter end and take one more shot at the field goal.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Joe, I mean, Michael Kendricks, he met Redmond right in the backfield. I mean, when you're trying to make an exchange in that situation, that was a little dangerous right there, and then Redmond fighting for some extra yardage. But he hangs on to it and secures the football, which was the most important part. I mean, you're going to see Kendricks, he comes through right there as the contact that's made. And then Redmond fighting for more yardage. I think I'd be yelling for him just to go down.
It's 3rd down and 9, 14 seconds left. The Steelers called a timeout. And so they are going to send their offense back on the field. And they are going to bring it down to a 4th down. End of the game. It's all on number 6.
I thought maybe they We might try to kick it here on 3rd down in case there was something that happened with the snap, but they're going to wait till 4th down.
They have that one timeout remaining.
180.
Here's Redmond. Gets a little closer, 2 yards closer. They'll let it wind down.
And this isn't a sure thing either, Joe. I mean, they call timeout here, but you know, with the conditions what they are, it's never a sure thing anyway. But with the conditions and the rain falling, this snap and hold here takes on a little different level of execution as well.
You saw the group. There will be no freezing of the kicker. Andy Reid and the Eagles out of timeouts. From Greg Warren into the hands of Drew Butler, the rookie, and off the foot of Sweezum to win it. Last week the Eagles won when a field goal try by Tynes was short. "34-yard try to win it." Good snap, good hold. Steelers win it, and they're 2-2.
Perfect snap and a perfect hold and a perfect kick.
And a big difference here today, Troy Aikman, the run game. A running game which was averaging a league worst 2.6 yards per carry. They get Mendenhall back at 4.4 yards a carry and a win. Back after this.